We are live. It's Tuesday night, about 7:30 Central. Almost said Eastern. That would have been wrong. And I'm in the truck. You guys are probably what the hell the title means. I'll get to that. But we'll get some people in here. If you are interested in signing up with GP Transco, there's a video on right now about that. So I imagine all of my listeners are going to be over there because, or watchers, whatever you want to call yourselves, because that's more interesting than what I have to talk about. But you never know. You never know. That is a great thumbnail. I like that thumbnail to talk about. So let's see if we got anybody in here. We got John Armstrong. He is the first. Watching Coach also. Why are you watching Coach? Are you going to go to GP Transco there, John? So we'll get some people in here, and then we'll do our shout outs, and and we'll talk about a few things. I don't have a noisy guitar, and right now, yet, and we're making money. So, but we get everybody in here, and we'll talk, we'll chat. I'm drinking my Aldi's brand mineral water, and we'll talk about the significance of this in the title, right? So, alrighty. Let's mute that. Okay, we've got John Armstrong, Little Viking Coach, Next Gen, Jeremy Rice, what's up? Jesse Bennett, how's it going? I'll talk to you in a minute. I heard you on Zello earlier, but I was in and out of Zello pretty briefly. I was in another channel and they were yelling for me to say something, but I couldn't get a word in, and I ended up leaving anyways because, I had a phone call. And let's see, Next Gen, I think I already said, hey, Daniel Adami, Little Viking Coach, RN, Nittany Lion, Sage News. Let's see, John and Daniel are talking. Oh no, Mr. Bill, what's up? Kenny, was being a school bus driver your first job? No. Your first job was washing pots and pans at Piccadilly Cafeteria. Like truck number one driver, MK, what's up? Cash is King, what's up? I liked your video about the yogurt. I had to get away from that stuff because it was stalling my weight loss, but it's definitely a great alternative, especially if you have sugar cravings. Anything that you can substitute for the sugar cravings is better. For a while, I was all about quitting cold turkey and realized that's not very realistic for most people, and so having some kind of sweet alternative is not a bad idea. Just depends on your mindset, right? You guys are, look, I'm not here to make fun of Coach or nothing. He's doing his thing. He's getting paid to promote a company, and he's doing that, and it's working because you guys keep going over there. So can't fault a man for making money and getting a free truck out of the deal, right? If that's what he's getting. I don't know what this deal is. I'm not savvy to that information. Would you trade in your truck if they offered you a 2021 W900 for $1,200 a month? Kenny, that's a really good question. I don't know. $1,200 a month, if it was guaranteed with a warranty, maybe. But I would definitely lose out on fuel mileage, and if fuel keeps going up, that truck is going to be a liability. So, what is that gadget? Okay, so I get all my trucking knowledge from Coach Adami, Little Line Coach. This is a 2 USB wall outlet. Now, why does Steve have one of these? So I picked up a load in Kansas City today, And I stopped by the Sapp Brothers there in Harrisonville. And two things happened. So I'm in line getting 4 of the bacon wrap pork on a stick. I almost did a video on it about how this was a great keto / carnivore friendly treat, but I forgot until I was halfway through them and I was driving. So you don't make videos while driving. Not with your phone, at least, right? So while I was purchasing those and a gallon of water, because I haven't been able to make the Walmart yet, and this very delicious, refreshing, unsweet tea, I was behind this guy who was complaining that the restaurant was closed. The restaurant closed at 2 because lack of staffing. Sound familiar? So the lady offered him, we have these pork on a stick, and he goes, that's a heart attack waiting to happen. Now mind you, this dude's probably pushing 380, 400 pounds. Doesn't seem like he might be long for this world. And so he goes over to the salads, and he's frustrated about that. But anyways, I see him messing with this wheel, like it's almost like Wheel of Fortune kind of wheel kind of thing, right? It's all clickety and all that. So I purchased my items, and the lady goes, would you like to spin the wheel? I'm like, what's that cost me? She's like, nothing. Anybody who purchases anything gets to spin the wheel. And so I go over to the wheel, because we're so paranoid about COVID that we're going to have everybody touch the same thing, because that's great. That's a great idea, right? And there's various prizes on the thing. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Spin. I land on a kid's toy, right? Like, she's like, you have kids? And I lied to her. I said, no, I don't. Which technically I don't. I mean, all my kids are grown, almost. I mean, the youngest one's like 16. The kids that I know of. Who knows how many out there that I don't know, right? And so I spin again. She lets me spin again, and I landed on USB drive. And I started thinking about that Mad Max 3, the Beyond the Thunderdome, and they had that deal, break the deal, face the wheel. And so I got my double USB port, which might come in handy because I've always got some stupid plugged in, right? And it'd be nice to only have one thing on a charger, right? On one power strip. So evidently I faced the wheel. I don't know what deal I broke, but that's what I got. So that's why this is in the thumbnail. But it's at the Sapp Brothers in Harrisonville. You too can win one of these things, or a what do you call it? A slinky. That's what I almost won. I forget what they called it though. It was like elastic spring, I think is what they called it. Apparently it's against the rules to use the actual slinky name. I don't know. But yeah, so there's that. Let's see, we got some more comments. I know I was just tired and popped into his channel, but I prefer Snorelord. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Do you get excited to go back on the road after being at home? Yes and no, Kenny. Sometimes I'm looking forward to the road, but other times, usually my Mondays have a bunch of BS, right? So I'll give you an example. I lock my trailer up with one of those Warlock 5th or Kingpin locks. And it uses this kind of key right here, right? Well, if you notice, this key is bent. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get my trailer. That's how my Monday started. So hammer and a prayer, and I had it open, but I pretty much trashed the lock. So, 6 years on that Warlock. That's pretty cool. So, probably get another one. I should probably order it on Amazon. Who knows if they're on back order. Just had a nice Cold brew coffee with some heavy whipping cream. Hadn't had that in a while. That sounds really good. That sounds really good. I don't have any heavy whipping cream, which is about the best way to have iced coffee. I don't have anything. I have a couple of bottles of water and a small container of hamburger. That's all I have. So, don't pray for me, pray for your mom. What's wrong with your mom? She just contracted COVID and she has taken both vaccine shots. Wow, that's crazy. Daniel, prayers out to your mom. Everybody's talking to Daniel. Yeah, I've heard about that horse stuff, and I don't know if that's a good idea. Has your trailer been vandalized or spray tagged by wannabe gangsters? Not yet, but I imagine it will after this evening. So there's that. No, we won't talk about that. The best thing for what's going around is to strengthen your immune system. LVC, hear me out on this. LVC, you can tell me if you agree with me or not, okay? I was talking to a person way back at Matt's, right? Way back at the last time I was at Matt's. I think it was the last one that they had. 2018. And I was talking to this gal. She was Kimasabi's wife. She, her and I were talking. She, they were carnivore, and I was like intrigued by that. But we were having a conversation, and she put a lot of 2 and 2 together with reports about the big V shots for the flu, for other diseases, right? And there are some studies that show, or at least correlate, that a lot of ADD and ADHD came from not just the shots, but a combined trifecta of the shots, a high sugar, high carb, pre-diabetic position, and other factors. It's the perfect storm. And so what they have found is that high fructose corn syrup depletes your vitamin D. If you have depleted vitamin D, it's harder to get over what's going around. No, I have not watched that yet, Little White Coach. Josh Savinga, what's up? So that tells me that the best way to defeat this, whether you had the jab or not, is to strengthen your immune system. And you do that through diet, exercise, and fresh air, and no stress. And I don't know about you, but how many people do you know are eating right, sleeping right, aren't worried about anything, and they're exercising quite a bit? How many of you know those people? How many of you are those people? One of the things I noticed when I went keto was that my allergy seasons were very short. Cold season was non-existent. And if I did get a sniffle, it was literally half a day and that was it. Because the ketogenic lifestyle, by cleaning up my diet, allowed me a stronger immune system. And so one of the comorbidities is diabetic or pre-diabetic. And so I honestly think that the best way to combat what we're dealing with, the only thing that you really have control over, is your food, your mental diet, and your physical diet, and try to get some exercise. Now, I know if you're 400 pounds and you're trying to lose weight, that's tough. Been there, done that. So sometimes the only way you can lose weight is just by eating the right things. Then once you lose a certain amount of weight, then it's easier to go on a walk, you know. So these are just my opinions. I do not take my medical reasoning as advice or professional advice. Please do not. But I wholeheartedly believe that processed food is the root of a lot of evil going around right now. Just saying. No, I've never done the ice bucket challenge. TJ Jones, what's up? And look, we can talk about anything you want. We don't have to just talk about this. I've not been sick since I went vegan 3 years ago. Good deal. 3-day fast will regenerate your immune system. That's what I'm back to struggling with that. I'm back to struggling with the fasting thing, the intermittent fasting thing. So I want to get to a 3-day, but I can barely get to 22 hours. That's my limit. See, Bill is agreeing with me on the immune system. Elvia, prayers for you. So there's that. And that's hard to do as a truck driver. I mean, it is. It's very hard to do as a truck driver. We don't eat right. We don't sleep right. You know, we've got a lot of stress. You know, especially if your dispatcher is a big meanie head, and your company wants you to run 4,000 miles a week, regardless of your hours of service, and you're trying to find parking in New York City at 2 a.m. You know, I mean, there's all these different things that keep the stress level. I know my stress level goes up when I'm dealing with areas that I don't deal with normally, which is kind of partially a downfall for me, because when it comes time to kicking into higher gear, it's a little bit more stressful for me. But because I generally tend to stick to the same stuff, it makes trucking a lot easier. This technology makes trucking a lot easier. For example, I needed parking. Well, I went on the pilot. I went on the pilot, and there was no spots left, so I knew not to even go in that truck stop. Sorry about the break there. I had a call on it, and it was listed as important call, so I have no idea what that means. Was your previous truck you owned in very good condition? Did it ever give you serious problems? Kenny, the worst thing that happened with that truck was the turbo. That was the worst thing. So it was the combined nickel and diming that was the worst part about that truck. Which all trucks are gonna look. All trucks, I don't care what brand, I don't care if it's a fleet truck, custom truck, all brands of trucks, every single, I don't care if it's a day cab, I don't care if it's a 20-year-old cab over or a 50-year-old whatever GMC, and I don't care if it's a brand new 2022 Freightliner. Once a truck hits 500,000 miles, it will nickel and dime you. That's why once you hit 500,000, you better have money in the bank or an extended warranty. That's why, isn't that why warranties, most new factory warranties only go to 500,000 miles? Interesting, right? All trucks will nickel and dime you after 500,000 miles. So if you buy a 500,000 mile truck, you better have low payments if you didn't pay cash for it. Matt, what's up? You're welcome. Trucking with Diabetes. He's got a good channel. He's done more health stuff. It's funny. I did a chicken skewer video, and you did too. I thought that was interesting. They had some of these at this truck stop. Have a lot of nickels and dimes, right? No, John. Except how many miles are on your truck there, John? No, it was a Peterbilt. 387. All right, everyone, don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you, Josh. Hey, John, you've got, depending on how many miles you're driving, you got about 1.5 years, 2 years. So you better have money in the bank. Your cryptocurrency better be doing very well. Yeah, we have a Facebook group. Next Gen made the point. Truckers Know Keto, KNOW, and you just have to answer the question if you're a truck driver or not, and you'll be good to go. Lies, I have over 600,000 and I haven't had much trouble with mine yet. Yes, a few things, but not much. The most I've spent on this year repairs. Daniel Ladami, are you serious? Are you kidding me right now? You blew an engine. That's a serious piece of machinery. That's a serious failure. You blew an engine. An engine. You had to have a new engine installed in your truck. That's the king of all breakdowns. The Daniel loves to take. See, that's the problem with social media. I'm gonna pick on Daniel for a minute. Okay, so if I sit there and say you can't run a business without business credit, there's always gonna be the one person that goes, well, my buddy did it. He started with $20 in his pocket without a credit card, and he's a successful millionaire. Okay, there's always exceptions to the rule. Okay, so Daniel's truck is over 600,000 miles, and he's had to replace the engine. So that wasn't a nickel and diming. That was a catastrophic event. That luckily, because of Schneider had the sense to get the warranty for that truck, and it paid for that engine. But if that wasn't paid for, you would be out of business right now, Daniel. Plain and simple. That's not nickel and diming. Catastrophic failure such as an engine failure, there's a lot of people that would struggle with that. So that's not a knock on you. But you can't sit there and say, well, I've barely spent any. No, it's not about how much money you spend. It's about how often money has to be spent. I know that sounds redundant, but hear me out. If you have a good warranty, and I said earlier, you better have a good warranty that goes after 500,000 miles, because 500,000 miles 500,000 miles, you're going to need it. Plain and simple. So I go back to my original comment. Any truck over 500,000 miles is going to nickel and dime you. Whether it nickel and dimes you to death depends on your overhead costs. If you have no truck payment and you have a truck that's above 500,000 miles, like me, then it doesn't cost, I mean, it doesn't hurt as much. But my truck is on track for 20,000 this year. My truck last year did 20,000. And I maintain it. I take care of it. I don't run it that hard. And if I had the same thing happen to you, Daniel, I would have to get a new truck. I would have to get something else, or spend 40 grand to put a new one in, new engine in. So then you ask yourself, do I put a $40,000 engine in a truck that's still nickel and diming me? And that's to be determined. The two main factors, the two things that will cost you the most money in these trucks is engine and DPF systems. That's it. Most people delete the DPF systems and then brag about it online, which is dumb. But just because you have a deleted DPF system doesn't mean that the computer can't fail, the wiring can't fail, the springs can't fail, the shocks can't fail. You know, you can have a cracked fifth wheel, you can have a cracked frame. You know, there's all kinds of things that can happen. Yeah, Cluster Trucker, well, I don't think his truck was at 600 at the time, but Schneider Finance is smart, okay? They will give you some really good warranties with those trucks. And at the bare minimum, they have a pretty high mileage warranty on the engine. Little Viking coach. Sometimes trucking scares the poop out of me. John, here's the deal. Take those fears and make them feel better. And how do you do that? Have enough money in the bank to cover small to medium repairs, and have a plan if there's a large repair. That's how you get over that. That's how you get over your fears, is you plan for what your fears are. When the nickels and dimes monthly average costs more than a new truck payment, is that the time to go looking? Bill, it depends. That is a question I have yet to answer for myself, because right now I'm at $3,300 a month in maintenance and repair. Where most guys get in trouble, okay, is if you have a high truck payment and the nickel and diming happen at the same time. It just gets you further and further in the hole. And I've experienced that personally. So when you do have a truck payment, you want to get it as low as possible with the longest amount of warranty that you can get. And the one mistake that I made when I bought this truck is I did not pay the extra 10 grand for the warranty, extended warranty on this truck, because I thought I had another year and I didn't. So what happens is a lot of guys, well, I'm going to get financed for a new truck, and then they realize that there's no meat left on the bone to get that extended warranty, and that's where you run into problems. So when the truck hits 3 years old, you're still upside down, and you're trying to trade it in. Next thing you know, your next truck is even higher. I've seen that personally myself. What are you talking about, fella? Easy commit. Oh, the deleting, yeah. You make fears better with vodka and bad decisions. Read my comments, Snorelord. Well, technically, besides my engine, it has 600,000 miles. Schneider did not cover the cost. It was covered. Well, that's what I said. The warranty. Schneider got the warranty. Schneider paid for that warranty, not you. That was last year. I said this year. So let me tell you something, Daniel. If you have a $10,000 turbo repair, which that's what it's going to cost, you're going to be able to fix that. Can you fix that today if that happened? If you're an owner-operator and your truck is paid for, and let's say it takes thousands to repair and you can't afford to fix it, you can just go back to being a company driver. Yes, that is true, Kenny. What has to be repaired or replaced that wasn't on the warranty? If you finance a truck, do you choose the term so it matches the time it takes for you to reach 500,000? Ideally, yes. You know, some dealerships will give you a 7-year loan. I don't recommend a 7-year loan because that's longer that you're upside down in the truck. I recommend a 5-year loan, and if you're working for the right company or sign on to the right company, you're going to be around 100,000 miles a year. Okay, I don't run like I did when I was a company driver. I'm not running 3,000 miles a week. Now I could, and I'd be making a lot more money, I think, but at the same time, that's not why I'm an owner-operator. I'm an owner-operator for the freedom to be able to choose when and how, where I go. Anybody see Lily Trucker and her husband signed on with Spectre? Yeah, I saw that. Do you need a CDL to buy a semi-trailer? Trailers, I'm not sure. I don't think so. But it just depends on your financer. If the financing says, where's your truck driving experience, and you explain to them your business plan is to buy so many trailers and lease them out, then you have to have something in the clause that you're allowed to lease that out. Technically, according to my loan with this trailer, I can't lease it out. Freedom is priceless. Look, makes sense. Sammy has the best philosophy. You get all these guys trying to be like Jeffrey Light and bringing on 10, 12, 15 drivers. That's a lot of stress. Ask me how I know. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of risk. That's a lot of moving parts. Jeff really doesn't have freedom. It's a 24/7 job. Dealing with Raycons and brokers and 15 drivers that may or may not have a problem. Dealing with the paperwork and the invoicing and all that. He still does all that himself. Little bike coach. Well, because I'm pretty close to Jeff and I've seen it firsthand, right? So Sammy said, you know what? I'm going to run my arse off for half the month and then take the other half, and then all the profits go towards other investments. And there you go. Semi-retired. Not quite at that level yet. Me, I like to take things a little bit more spaced. So instead of like staying out for 3 weeks and then taking a week off, which is what I used to do at Landstar, now I try to stay out every other weekend and, you know, let the bank account get fat. And then usually by that time the truck's asking for money or there's something going on at home I have to be home for. Nothing witty, what's up? My AC breaker just tripped. It is too hot for this truck, so we're gonna kick it into high gear. Hold on a minute. I will say that is one downside I've had with the carriers. The AC breaker will trip if it's working too hard. So, semi-retired, I see what you did there. Well, that's Sammy's words, not mine. Yeah, I was yelling at Daniel again. Well, Daniel brings it on himself, does he not? Does he not bring it on himself? We are under a heat index warning until Thursday. And you can definitely tell. I can't really have the windows open because that truck's high idle. That truck's high idle. I think there's a reefer on this truck. Yeah, so that. I'm way too fat for how hot it is. Yeah. It's one of the advantages of losing the weight I have. Well, I'm out of here because obviously you're always right and I'm always wrong. Just because your truck nickel and dime you doesn't mean anyone else's truck going to do the same. Daniel, don't be that way. You know, and if your truck has a nickel and dime you, then consider yourself lucky. Yes, Kenny. Once you have a Class A, you can drive pretty much anything. Wife and I are on that keto and doing well so far. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I love hearing that. I love seeing transformation stories. There's a couple of people I know that I've seen that they've gone keto and they're doing wonderful with it, and that just that makes me happy because there's too much misery out here, and if you can change your health, you kind of combat that a little bit. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not always right, Cluster Trucker. I have my issues. I have my struggles. I haven't been perfect. Most of the things I tell you guys because I've learned the hard way. Cost of a turbo is $6,000. Depends on where you go. A friend of mine just had a PACCAR turbo replaced and cost him like around $9,000. So mine cost in the Cummins around $9,000. So if they have to replace the turbo, that's great, but 9 times out of 10 they have to replace the turbo actuator, which is another $1,500. So add the labor to that, you're going to come out to about $9,000. You said almost. I have 695,000 miles on my truck. But that's in 6 years, 7 years, versus most 7-year-old trucks got probably close to 1 million. The best way to learn how to succeed is to learn from your failures. Absolutely right, Next Gen. Absolutely right. Big Houston, what's up? Time for a new truck then? Like I said, I'm debating it, but buying a truck in this market is really expensive right now. Your bare bones trucks are going for 180, and if you're going to buy a 100,000 mile truck, you're going to pay almost the new price for it, which is insane. But for the most part, I'm never right, so don't let Daniel fool you. Make a drama video. Yeah, man, we'll start a YouTube war. You've done that before, Daniel. Eddie, I'm at... Let's see if I got my P&Ls up here. Oh, I can do it on... I'm an idiot. Hold on. Get my glasses out. I don't need my ring light here because the lights from the fuel islands are bright enough. Alright, you know. Alright, so we'll start this on January 1st. End date will be today. Generate report. Alright. Someone get their calculator out. You ready? As of today, I'm at $17,138 on maintenance and repair. Okay? That's combined. I don't separate the two. Add another $5,000 for tires. That includes 2 sets of steers and a set of drives. I'm sorry, $4,500 for the tires. I was wrong on that. And then another $288 on trailer tire repair. So what's that total number? Come on, calculator people. What's that total number? Math is hard, which is why I told you to 21,926. Now, Mr. Bill, thank you. Add $1,745 for the APU this year. Maintenance and repair. So, add that. What's that number? Yeah, Big Houston, that and the other. I've had 2 blowouts, but I've had spares. The one blowout they had when you were running with me, that's pretty much, I think that was about 160 bucks, I think. I don't remember what I paid. So 23, and we're only in the month 8. So when you take that number, 23,671, divided by 8, that comes out to $29.58 a month that this truck is costing me. So basically $3,000. We're gonna round it up to $3,000 because math is hard, right? Pretty sure I can get into a new truck for about $2,600, depending on how much money I put down. Now, where most guys get in trouble is that truck on my Peterbilt. I had that high of 1 year on top of the truck payments, which were $2,000 a month. So I was paying a Schneider Finance level payment for that truck, but I wasn't running like a Schneider Finance guy should be. It almost took me out. I changed trucks, lowered my truck payment by $500 a month, increased my fuel mileage, and decreased my maintenance and repair, because before that, repair and maintenance was averaging about $12,000 a month at 100,000 miles a year. That comes out to 12 cents a mile, which is what a majority of these large fleets do for your lease operators, right? That's where they get that number from. Is Landstar an actual trucking company? Yeah. And this does not figure lost revenue. Absolutely right. So people go, well, Steve, why are you an owner operator? Sounds like a big pain in the butt. I wouldn't have it any other way. That's how silly I am. That's how silly I am. Most of what you spent isn't covered under warranty. Absolutely correct. Take the tires out of the cost because you'll be buying tires for a new truck. I try not to include, I mean, you spend the money regardless, right? But when you want to really gauge maintenance repair, tires have to come into play. So now the drives were the first time I've replaced them in the 4 years I've had the truck. So, because I don't run a whole lot of miles. And there was one that was worn down pretty good. I replaced one because I had a nail in it, but beyond that, they were pretty much dry rotting at some point. So you take that $4,500 I spent in tires and divide it by the 4 years. For most people, I'm going to divide that by 2 or 3 years. And so that's your yearly cost for tires. You should be putting away $2,000 a year for tires. You should have a tire maintenance fund. You know, I just kind of throw everything in one bank account. You know, when it comes to the business, not my personal one, my business. And that's how you work that. Landstar is a brokerage, yeah, because they don't own any trucks and they lease all those trailers. I haven't been to a Whataburger in years and years. Trucks cost you about $100 a day just to maintain. Right. So when you look at your daily rate, you got to factor that in. So like Trucker Nene, I'm not picking on her, but we're gonna use her as an example. She was a prime lease operator. So as a prime lease operator, you're shielded from a lot of those nickel and dime costs that happen with older trucks, which is why every 3 years they want you in a new lease, because they know that the truck will start nickel and diming you on top of the fact that you have that higher truck payment, and they know that that's hard to maintain. So that's why that's why they have lease incentives and lease completion incentives, because they want you to trade that truck in every 3 years. They want you to get that in your system. So the minute that she left that pretty safe umbrella, she's made a lot of mistakes, which you know, I'm not beating her up for, but you know, we're all going to make mistakes. But as a lease operator, like at Prime or Schneider, you should be learning what it's going to take to run a trucking business. And buying an old deleted truck with no warranty that the company itself is selling, that's not a good idea. I am a bully. You guys, stop bragging about your deleted trucks. Do you set aside a percentage of your revenue per mile for maintenance repair? Seems like the way to go rather than put repairs on a credit card and paying finance charges. Bill, I've done both, right? So I just now got all my credit cards paid off. Well, almost paid off. I'll have to make a payment, 2 payments tomorrow, and then we'll be good to go. And so the only business that I'll have, knock on wood, is the trailer payments. That's it. And then the revolving, you know, like my pre-pass and my tolls and everything, that's taken out monthly on a credit card, and then I just pay it at the end of the month. But in my cell phone. But yes, it's better to set aside as much money as you can so you don't have to use credit cards. But you know, if you've only got $5,000 in the bank and you have a $10,000 turbo repair, then you know you need something. So it's a combination of having money and credit. If you rely too much on one or the other, it could eventually get, you know, because if you refuse to use credit, well, what happens when you have a $25,000 breakdown and you've only got $20,000 in the bank? What do? You're dead in the water. But if you got all your cards maxed out because you got no cash, you're dead in the water. So it's the combination that you need. Is it better to buy a used truck that's 2 years old and not older than that? Kenny, I would, yeah. That's about 2 or 3 years. This was 3 years old when I bought it. Businesses use other people's money. That is true, James Betts. That is true. Because, you know, if you have capital in the bank, and you use it all to pay all of your bills, then you can't handle the surprises that are coming along. And that's why, you know, look, everybody makes fun of lease operators, but it's exactly what they're doing. They're putting the risk of the truck purchase on somebody else. What's more pressure? Me taking out a $180,000 loan or leasing a truck? As long as I'm making the monthly payments, I'm good to go. You can never max out on it. Look, you know, cash versus credit is one of those eternal arguments that you're never gonna win, right? And it seems like a lot of these eternal arguments, I'm always in the middle, because you use the best from both worlds, because I've relied on both, right? But I do know that if you got 3 credit cards with balances and you're paying $150 a month in interest alone on each card, that's $450 times a month, times 12 months. That's $5,400 a year. What can that extra $5,400 a year buy you? It's a lot of wasted money. So there's a balance. Like everything else in life, there's a balance. Will I buy a newer semi-trailer in a few years? Probably not, Kenny, because you won't be able to find them. Let's see. When's the Peterbilt hit the road? Cash is king till you ain't got it. Using other people's money, you're never cash poor. Most guys run their truck like a company driver and complain about repair costs and breakdowns. I agree with that, Eddie. They stick in the shop for every little thing. Look, I try to get, the stuff that's urgent, you got to get that done. But if there's something that I can wait till I can get home with, I'm going to do that. Because the factor, okay, so here's where I've been blessed, okay? I've had quite a bit of downtime with the repairs I've done this year, but I haven't had to have one hotel room because of it. Knock on wood. That's another cost a lot of people don't consider. I did as soon as I see an issue, period. And that's great. Did you ever have to put your driver in a hotel this year? Because if not, that's pretty good. Rental car home is cheaper. Sometimes, depending on where you're at. I spent, like, dealing with my mom's stuff. I spent, the rental car was about $630. So that was all the way from New York to Missouri. In 3 days. Well, yeah. No, 2 days. 2 days. So had I had a third day, it would have been like $900 something. But part of my turbo repair that I had with the last truck, I spent 4 days in the hotel. Scott just got parked. Good deal. And that's good. I mean, and that's something a lot of guys don't think of, is when you own a truck and you put a driver in it, how are you going to compensate that driver if that truck goes down for a week? Are you going to give him layover? Are you going to give him some kind of minimum? Are you going to pay for his hotel room? Have you thought about that? It's not as easy as just putting someone in your truck. Because if that guy is a company driver, right, driving for you, you have to make it to where you take care of them. Because I don't know, if I was a company driver and my company didn't want to pay me for 2 weeks because my truck was down, they couldn't put me in another truck, I'm out. I'm over. I'm done. I'm going somewhere else. So a lot of people will think about that when they decide to put people in their trucks. Because eventually the truck's going to go down and it won't be around the house. The truck will never take me out as contractors. Not company, he's a contractor. I didn't pay for a hotel. Well, that's good. You develop a system that protects you, and the contractor took the risk that could happen. So that's good. And that's why a lot of companies are lease ops, because you still are responsible for all the repair, all the expenses that come along with it. And I know people that start off with company drivers and are going to contractors only. So, which is the only way I would do it. And that's why full maintenance leases are so popular, because if you can get them, they're hard to get, because you're never worried about a repair. And the cost of breakdowns or whatever, that's never a concern for you. You'll never own the truck if it's not a lease purchase, full maintenance lease, but you know, it just depends on what your needs and wants are. The truck is a depreciating asset, plain and simple. And it's how you're able to deal with it. If you got an older truck, if you can do your own mechanical work, that's a big plus. But these newer trucks, as they get newer and newer and more complex, they're harder to shade tree than they were even 5 years ago. Reality is, cent you pay per mile is paying for maintenance, right? So, but again, I'm not perfect. Never claimed to be, never will be. And I'm still learning. Hell, I've been an owner operator for 7 years, and I'm still learning. Honestly, I would like to see what your numbers look like when you really dive in. Snorelord, a new truck doesn't change your situation for the better, just my opinion. And Eddie, look, I know several people that have done the numbers side by side, and they're pretty much the same. So, a lot of times I tell people, get a truck that you like, that you want to pay off, and that you're willing to rebuild if needed. If you're just the kind of person where the truck is a tool, it's to get you from point A to point B for as much profit as possible, and you want to trade it in every 3 years to take advantage of the warranty, then you build your business around that, right? And the reality is you can have, look, if you pay cash for a brand new truck, then you know that's an advantage there too. That's probably going to be your lowest cost. My issue is time. If I buy a new truck tomorrow, okay, here's how I thought about this. If I buy a new truck tomorrow, it's going to be a 5-year no, if not a 6-year no. Okay? I don't know mentally if I have it in me to do this for another 6 years. It's going to take at least 3 years to not be upside down in it. And so if I get a new truck today and I go 3 years, I might break even when I go to sell it. And that's it. Whereas this truck here, I can walk away tomorrow, and I'll make some money selling this truck. But the trick is there, Eddie, is that you can do a lot of your own maintenance. There's a lot of guys out here that can't. That's the thing, right? I'm hearing 7-month wait on some parts. Good luck with warranty. My other truck has been in the shop since July 26th. They just started looking at it yesterday. Said it will be Friday before they even have a diagnosis. Hence buying the second truck. Yep. And that should be the true concern, whether your truck's paid for or not. Whether your truck payment is $1,000 or $4,000 a month, that parts thing is an issue. That is a true, honest to God issue that we will all face at one point or another. I've already faced it. My AP was down for a week because waiting on a part. My rears down extra 2 weeks waiting on parts. And so warranties help, but they don't cover downtime, and the bank still wants their money. The carrier still wants their money. I wish I was more mechanically inclined, but I have days where I can't even unlock a kingpin lock. So there's that. Look, there's 1,000 ways to do this business, and none of them are right, none of them are wrong. Whatever works for you. And there's a lot of criticisms I give myself because I'm not perfect either. You spent almost $24,000 on your truck this year. Will you get that return value if you trade sell in a new truck? No. If I can sell it at $30,000, then what do I gain? Like $8,000? So I would have to sell it for $30,000, and that might be enough to get for a down payment for a new truck to make the payments reasonable. And now if I sold for $30,000 and walked away, then then I've gained $8,000 from the 24 I've lost. But then what am I going to do after that? That's the thing. If you're going to leave the industry, and I'm not looking to leave the industry at this point in time. James's guys run around in a 900,000 mile truck. And I think that's, look, time is of the essence, right? I don't want a new truck because I don't want to put another 6 years into something. I don't want the pressure of 6 years. No, nothing witty, I'm sorry. Math is hard. See? So, I think I had 32 stuck in my head. Right, less of taxes on the sale. So, I was offered a pretty penny for my truck and trailer this year, and I did not take it because I don't have an exit plan. What else am I going to do? I like driving a truck. I'm just not the guy that's going to stay 3 months out at a time and try to do 12,000 miles a week. I'm not that guy. Most of the dumb luck, and that is true. Daniel was bragging about his truck not nickel and diming this year, which is great because he kind of deserves that for what he had to deal with last year, right? Gives him a chance to be ahead. There's going to be a period of time where the truck's not going to nickel and dime you, and as long as you're preparing for when, not if, but when, and that's where a lot of people get. I saw it at Landstar all the time. These guys that paid off trucks, they'd run 2 weeks out of the year. Out of the month, and didn't put anything away for maintenance or repair, and then when they have to, they would either trade the truck in and now they had a truck payment and then they couldn't handle it, or they couldn't afford the repairs because they didn't have enough money in the bank because they didn't run it all. I see that all the time. And so some of it's luck on the truck, and so if your truck's giving you good luck, take advantage of that. And that's something I've had trouble doing. All right, Scott, have a good dinner. And that's kind of the plan, Bill. That's kind of the plan. You and I see eye to eye. OTJB hates driving a truck and truck drivers and women. Should I continue the lit it? Cash is king. If you sell your truck and trailer, have you thought about GB Trans? No. I don't even like the color of their trucks, to be honest with you. Oh, list, okay. I wonder what lit it was. Lit it. And look, Sammy also made the point that if you hate truck driving, right? Maybe it's not the actual job itself, it's how you have to do the job, right? So I think that the more successful you are at trucking, the more freedom you have. The more freedom you have, there's a lot of things that you can tolerate a lot better. Hey Nevada, start over. No. Autocorrect fail. I wasn't bragging that my truck has a nickel and dime me. I was just trying to say that you can't put on everyone that a truck will nickel and dime me after 500,000 miles because yours did. Daniel, my dad was an owner-operator. I know a lot of owner-operators, and trucks start nickel and diming you after 500,000. That's why that mega carriers get rid of them after 500,000 miles. Ask Pale Rider. He's had 3 trucks. And tell me that those trucks don't nickel and dime them. I mean, if you find one person that hasn't had a truck nickel and dime them at some point after 500,000 miles, then they've got a really good truck. Can you be an owner-operator with doubles? You can, but that's kind of a niche market, so you're kind of limiting yourself. Talkaholic. Dang, over 30 minutes later, yep. No nickel and dimes here. You had your injectors go out. That was an expensive year, I bet. Plus a week's worth of hotel. There is no pop quiz. Freedom, oh wait, this is Snorelord's channel. Is Pale Rider still derated? I forgot to ask. No, Pale Rider's fine. Mob G, what's up? For freedom, YouTube 50%. Thank you. I don't have, Daniel, okay, I'm going to let you win this one. You're right. I'm completely wrong. Everybody with 500,000 mile trucks, you're good. Don't worry about saving away money. You don't need to. You'll be all right. Daniel, why are you giving me grief today? I never always have to be right. There's a lot of times I'm completely and utterly wrong. So I don't know why you're giving me grief today, Daniel. No, don't want to go to Canada. Nevada, thank you for the $4.99. I appreciate that. Look, it's part of the cost. A truck has never paid off, right? And where a lot of guys get in trouble is when they have a high truck payment and the truck's costing them $12,000 to $20,000 a year on top of that. LBC, that's funny. Eddie, trust me, I've had the opportunity twice to get a new truck and I've turned it down. I talked myself out of it. So, and I appreciate that, Eddie. A lot of times I get tired of talking about all of it, to be honest with you, because we could talk business and trucking and new trucks versus old trucks, high mileage trucks that don't nickel and dime you versus new trucks that do nickel and dime you. You can talk about it all day long. We're arguing about all the wrong stuff. You should be focused on you, not what somebody else is doing. All these people obsessed in what Trucker's Coach is doing, who cares what he's doing? All these people obsessed in everybody making different business decisions. Who cares? Okay? The basics are keep your costs low, keep your profitability as high as possible, don't go too much into debt, and don't let something nickel and dime you and take you out. That's as simple as that. Anything beyond that, you're overthinking it. If you're sitting at a truck stop right now, look at all the trucks. You've got show quality 389s next to a crusty old 30-year-old Freightliner next to a new fleet truck. Those three business models are completely different, and they got to that point in different steps, different ways, different routes, different roads. Right? And for me, buying a new truck is a 6-year commitment I don't feel like having, because I know it won't solve a lot of the issues of trucks breaking down, because new trucks break down seems like more often than not here lately. The only truck, knock on wood, the only truck that ever put me on a tow truck had 9,000 miles on it. So I've had new trucks sit just as long as the old trucks. So find something that you like, find something that you want to pay off, and make sure it doesn't bury you before it's done. That's it. But at the end of the day, I think a new truck would net more because of less downtime due to repairs. In a normal world, I would agree with you, but with the issues of parts and supplies, that could be a real thing. So the only way I'm going to get a new truck is two ways. There's two ways. If it's given to me, or I can have the cost around $1,500 a month. That's it. You know how much money you need down on a new truck to have a $1,500 a month truck note? I don't have that. So what do? I just sit and continue plugging away with this truck. I've done oil samples. The engine's in good shape. The DPF, half of it's been replaced. It's in good shape. So all new suspension in the rear, except for the airbags. I don't have new airbags. That'll be soon. I'll have new brakes this year. I've already got new tires. I got Centromatics on the front. I've got a good alignment. I got new parts of the new front end, new rear end. So, you know, as long as this thing's making me money, we're good. Because with my payments being done, my costs to run this truck are cut in half, literally. Bees Knees, what's up? Last year for me, in repairs, I spent about $11K, and I'm grateful that my truck hasn't cost me a lot of money this year besides fuel, obviously, but I do get what you're saying. It's how you say it. I will still stand by that after 500,000 miles, the truck will nickel and dime you. It may happen over time, it may happen all at once. You never know. I'm still going to stand behind that statement. You can just agree to disagree. Bob G had a new Mac Anthem in the shop 2 weeks, couldn't get a simple part. There you go. No, Kenny, I don't need any more guitars. Did I see Red Chicken's cousin sing like a virgin? No, but I've seen Yellow Chicken sing that Led Zeppelin song. I forget the name of the Led Zeppelin song. If my wife's in here, she'll know. You okay the guitar pretty good, by the way. I dig it. Well, thank you, Bees Knees. I appreciate that. I hope to never buy a new truck as a replacement. I'll just keep putting money away into this baby. It would take a lot to justify buying new again. Well, Nevada, that's where you have the kind of truck that people pay off. You have the kind of truck that people rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, right? So it's not just a simple plastic fleet truck. And you got the truck that you like, right? So you want to pay that off. You want to do as much as you can with that truck. You take pride in that truck. Most trucking companies out here, they're about making money. That's why you have fleet trucks. That's why they're spending $120,000 on fleet trucks versus $180,000 on custom Peterbilts, right? Because they're about making a penny per mile per profit, like JB Hunt or whatever. And so, if I was to get another truck, it would be the last truck that I would want to turn into something in the show department. But yes, James Best is right. Breakdowns are inevitable, new or used. Thank you, TJ. I heard that. So, anyways, we have been, man, we've at an hour 22 minutes. How am I missing so many singing chicken videos? YouTube is dropping the ball, not recommending those for me. Well, apparently I need to get on the ball of Red Chicken singing songs. Maybe I'll have them singing a Suffocation or Cannibal Corpse song. Maybe I'll do that. Did I make $100 on YouTube last month? Yes, I did. We don't run recaps yet, Megas will. That is true. I will not run recaps on trailer or tractor. Even on the trailer, because every time, if I had the option between new, retread, or used, I'll see what condition the used tire is in, but for the most part, it's going new. So, Charlie Watts passed away today. That's sad. The singer of Eric Wagner, singer of Trouble, he passed away as well. Just buy an 860 Volvo and be done with it. I almost did, Thomas. I almost did. That's a very comfortable truck. No, Kenny. Not yet. Well, there's two ways I could go. 600 sell, or for 100K match, 100K buy another one, or keep the one I got, leaning towards keeping the one I got very content. I run recaps many years, only 3 blowouts I remember on tractor. Igor, the tallest man in America, died today at 38. Wow. I'm probably due, at least by the end of the year, trailer tires. How long does it take you to balance your weight on loads? Not long at all, just like that. That comes from experience and knowing your truck and trailer. And I also have the right way onboard scales, so I pretty much, I think I've spent like maybe 40 bucks, if that, on scale tickets this year. Young Volvo in Canton has some good deals right now, Steve. Slide and go. You have what you call the sweet spot. For 43,000, 40 to 43,000, the sweet spot is going to be either 11 o'clock on the rear tire with the arrow, the 41-foot arrow, or right smack dab in the middle of the tandems, depending on how it's loaded. And so if it's one item like glass, bottles, or soda or beer or water, well, water. I'm going to disagree with water because water loads have been kind of weird here lately, but soda is pretty much going to be in the sweet spot. How much have I spent on parking? Well, let's look. Let us look. If you want, we can go over all my costs. You guys want that? Are you interested in that? So far, I've spent $11,643 in fuel. I know guys that are 3 times that. For parking, I'm at $64 LVC. Scale tickets, I'm at $36.50. And the reason why it's like that, because I'll either calibrate the scales on the truck or it's 45.5 and I want to make sure I got it perfect. I've spent $359 in tolls this year. I spent $29.31 on insurance. That's bobtail and physical damage. Oh, and occupational. I've spent $43 in IFTA this year. Let's see, DEF. I've spent $404 on DEF this year. $503.60 on the DAT board this year. So there you go. Beard oil budget. I get that little bottle. It's like, I think, $10. I go through one of those a month, I think. Good night, James Best. DJ Jones, I have found the secret to the death. Ready? Buy it at the mom and pops. Like what's the running cost for DEF right now at a mega truck stop? Well, I got the wrong phone to look. Do you track food and meal purchases as a business expense? No, Mr. Bill, I go by the per diem, which at the end of the year I just add up those days. And that covers the per diem. Impressive. Thank you, Eddie. $1,980 on parking this year? Damn. I doubt you're doing that, Mr. Wilson. $3.19 a gallon. So let's look at where I'm at here. Let's see what DEF is here without having to see if it'll tell me. Not going to tell me. Yeah, I've seen as low as $1.99 as well. But you can generally save money on DEF if you buy it at the mom and pops. So if you don't use, well, no, I won't say that. But yeah, if you can buy DEF at the mom and pops, you're better off. The only numbers of mine that's accurate to the T in trucking office is income made and paid out to contractors. That's what Jen pulled up and told me. Well, see, Thomas Wilson, the way you run and where you run, I could see that. You're probably paying for parking almost every night, right? I use QuickBooks. Okay. Knowing your numbers is important. Well, I know people that go through thousands of dollars a year in tolls because they live up northeast. I mean, that's, you know, and that's a big part of what your costs are going to be. I tend to use my TA points for parking, or else my bill would be a little bit higher. I would have paid for parking tonight, but there wasn't any available. I'm going to pay for it one way or another, so instead of paying for parking, I'm gonna, you know, I'm 20 miles out of route, you know, 10 one way, 10 the other way, and go back. You refuse to pay for parking, just saying. Pneumatic Brit, I did a load up to Connecticut, and I was very grateful to have paid parking. You know, it depends on the areas that you're running. Now, when you go to the Petro in Effingham, yeah, that's a little excessive. Mount Vernon, TA, a little excessive. I have a buddy over here that has a huge farm. He buys it in bulk and sells it to the farmers for, I think, $1.69 a gallon. So it's got to be super cheap in bulk. It is. But $8.77 on tolls. That's not bad as much as Indiana you guys run. How much did I say my tolls were? 380, something like that. You know, when I look down my P&L list, there are things that I can decrease or eliminate if I really need to. Always have meat on the bone that you can take off. Like, I pay for Sirius XM. Not sure why. I very rarely use it. But I don't need that meat yet, right? So, and I think we should have a deal with JB Hunt that I should be able to get it for free, but I don't think we've activated that yet. It is late. Eddie, you make a good point. It is late. I'm going to go to bed. Well, I'm not going to go to bed yet, but it's time for me to end this feed. Just think about the amount of money the major truck stops make on us. It's ample, and they like to keep reminding us how much we mean to them. Yeah, I made a joke meme about truck stops and how they do their sales. But hey, we're nothing but a bunch of piggy banks out here, right? We're the cash cows of the industry. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you're pulling an all-nighter, be safe. Monster drinks only make your sugar crash, so don't do that. Okay? If you're getting ready to go to bed, have a good night and have a good safe morning. And protect yourself, watch yourself, be aware of your surroundings, and take care of yourself. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up. Nevada, thanks for the $5. And I appreciate you guys. Peace out.